how are you? I'm Lerin Haddock, and welcome to another free game retrospective. Now this week, we're looking at a game that was created by Jacob Yanurka. I hope I pronounced that right, and he's my big secret for this week. I emailed Jacob with a couple of questions, and the fantastic man that he is has responded, and well, you'll see I'll be adding his answers throughout the episode. The game was one of 6 winners to be showcased at the PAX Australia Indie Showcase 2016 and released in April 2017. I picked it up when Epic offered it as a free game back in April 2022. Today we're travelling to Krusz, we're looking at the point-and-click adventure game that is Paradigm. So let's get our fat beatsies pumping and let's dive in.
Do you mind dropping some fat beatsies?
Okay.
Let's put it this way, this is the sort of game that I created this channel for. Point-and-click adventure games are not everyone's cup of tea, but like previous games in the genre, I'm looking at you Monkey Island series, the humour and the puzzles in this game are hard not to love. This indie game, created by Jacob after raising 250% of his Kickstarter goal and quitting his job, is an absolute gem. Everything from the world you're in and the characters you meet are a joy. Whether it's a sloth in a wig or a hair metal pug, it's hard not to enjoy. Okay, so I didn't know how to fit in some of these questions, so let's try it like so. How did it feel for you to finally release what was clearly a passion project, that you quit your job to complete, and that when it was released was so highly praised by the gaming press? Honestly, dream come true. I try to reflect on it as much as I can how fortunate I was. Obviously, it was a lot of hard work. Honestly, not the greatest work-life balance, but I still appreciate the luck I did hit with it. It has given me a lot of opportunity. The art style is both fantastically hideous and beautiful, using an Eastern European 70s, 80s sort of vibe in a post-apocalyptic future. I mean, maybe not apocalyptic, as you can see, there's infrastructure and businesses and people, but well, considering where we are now and the way everyone looks in the game, I'd probably consider that to be quite an apocalyptic place to be. I mean, the grotesque characters are beautifully drawn, all the characters and backgrounds are beautifully created, and you really do feel like it's a world that exists before and after your adventure. What made you decide on the Eastern European vibe, both accents and stylistically? A combination of things. I have an extreme love for pickles and kielbasa. That may or may not be related that my parents are Polish immigrants. I grew up around my parents and family friends and would often copy their mannerisms, so when I decided to make my own game, I wanted to hone in on something that I could really offer a unique perspective on. I wanted to create something that was quite a sincere thing too, compared to more crass interpretations of Eastern Europe that treat it as something to laugh at and look down upon, rather than enjoy and laugh with. Was part of the choice due to being able to perform the accents yourselves? This was definitely high up there why I chose it too. The first 3 characters of the game is just me, for budget reasons, haha. So I was trying to work with what I had. Gameplay mechanics are familiar to anyone who has played a point-and-click in the past, but even if you haven't, the game is very intuitive in how everything works. It gives you a tutorial, and if you'd like it, a helpful talking tuner. You'll be combining items and preparing solutions in no time, even having never played a game like this before. The game does shine in this respect. The puzzles are challenging but achievable, which quickly brings me on to point-and-click adventures, puzzle games, even puzzles in platformers and shooters. They're a strange breed. Let me explain what I mean by that. So at the end of the day, in a lot of these games, a puzzle will be based on what one person thinks. Now, think of those office and school team-building tasks where you have to list, the priority of items, or you can only take 3 items out of 10, that sort of thing. And you're stuck on the moon or a desert island. Now, in that room, you may have 5 groups of multiple people, and they'll argue amongst themselves, and at the end, nearly all the group's answers will be different. Then the lead of the task will state how you were wrong, and this is the correct way. This is often the puzzle. It's not whether you can figure something out, it's whether you know the mind of the puzzle master. If you don't, you'll likely end up on a walkthrough, which then makes things worse as you read the answer and are absolutely baffled as to how 1 plus 1 equals cow, somehow. Yet, again, to show love to the genre, you generally do not need an absolute beast of a machine, and something like this will happily run on laptops, for example. The voice acting is phenomenal, from Paradigm's Eastern European twang to your super Aussie computer, the Secretary Knight to a candy-vomiting sloth who sounds an awful lot like Matt Berry. And let us not forget the great beatboxing eggplant himself, Doug. The characters are well written, and the dialogue is delivered perfectly for the vibe and energy of the game and the character. Olaf, firstly, is a fantastic villain, cute yet evil, with a voice reminiscent of Matt Berry. Was that an intentional choice, or just where the voice led? It's actually not, and not something I've even clocked, but now you've mentioned it, I can hear it. I love Matt Berry, but probably got into his stuff later in the game's development. His voice is actually kinda based off Werner Herzog a bit. It was incredibly hard to find a voice for him, as I wanted him to sound Swedish, but everyone was just giving me goofy Swedish chef accents, except for Ian Champion, who nailed the performance. The sound and music from Jonas Kjellberg, again I've probably butchered the guy's name and I apologise because his score for the game is absolutely amazing. Fat beatsies all round.
Welcome! This is Advertisement Radio, where we play advertising.
Welcome to Commander Dream. Radio.
Dude, what a tune!
The sense of humour of Paradigm is a massive draw to this game, whether it's the quippy, often meta lines from Paradigm himself or the situations you find yourself in. The humour elevates this game into the heights of fantastic point-and-click adventure games of yesteryear, be it Day of the Tentacle, Discworld, or Monkey Island. There's gags and nods left, right and centre in the game. Some are very direct references and nods, some are more subtle. Again, with the beautiful art in every scene, you shouldn't begrudge yourself taking in that bit more time to soak in each place and spot things that either hit you with a bit of nostalgia or give you a chuckle. The story will keep you hooked. Again, some amazing writing to take the unemployed, aspiring electronic music artist figuring out his past as a mutated prodigy child for evil corporation Duper. I mean, I'm not wrong in calling them that. You saw the beginning of the episode. Their adverts are, how do I put it, a little harsh. Paradigm's existence and treatment, again, harsh. But I digress. Reluctant hero is often a trope, and to be fair, it is great in this game. A true hero who just wants to go home and follow his dreams and make some fat beatsies. I mentioned earlier that this is the sort of game that I created this channel for, and I've always wondered how creators find the exposure given by being a free game on such a platform. And thanks to Jacob, I've been given at least one person's perspective in this. How did having your game released on Epic Games as a free game affect you and your team? Was it a boon or a curse? Honestly, didn't make that much of a difference, at least from what I can see. I think it introduced it to a lot of people that may never have even tried to pick it up, which is awesome. And I look forward to people over the years looking at their vast free Epic library and picking it at random. That's generally what happens from what I can tell. I think the coolest thing that the Epic thing and even Humble offers with that stuff, suddenly you have millions of people being aware of your game, even if they didn't play it. And sometimes you get comments like, yeah, I saw it, but looked weird, dude, didn't play it. Which, honestly, kind of a funny compliment, but also hilarious people would say that to my face. Happened in an Uber. I don't think I have enough praise to give this game. Like I said at the beginning, if you haven't really played point-and-click adventures before, I highly recommend picking this pearl up. I mean, for under £12 on Steam, Humble Bundle and Epic, if you didn't pick it up when it was free that is, it's highly worth a playthrough. Jacob, Jonas, I salute you. One final piece from this fish. A massive, massive thank you to Jacob for responding to my questions. I'm sure he could and probably did have a lot more important stuff he could have done than sending me that email. And again, forever grateful. And I've been Leering Haddock, and I'll see you next time.